Good morning, fabulous fourth grade. Today is April 24th, 2020, and it is a fantastic Friday. Today, we are going to continue with our online learning in our virtual classrooms. I'm going to share the screen. All right. Again, good morning, my fabulous fourth grade leaders. Today is April 24th, and we are going to continue learning about biodiversity. Our learning goal, repeat after me. I can identify the components of an ecosystem and identify and explain each level of an energy pyramid. Again, I can identify the components of an ecosystem and identify and explain each level of an energy pyramid. So, what is biodiversity? It is the variety of life in the world or in a particular habitat or ecosystem. An ecosystem is all of the living and non-living parts of an environment. An environment is all of the living and non-living things around an organism. More than one of the same type of organism is a population. To further elaborate, this is a deer. This is one deer. And because it's one organism, and because there are more than one deer around this organism, it is a population. It's the same organism, a population of this organism. So when you have two populations of two separate types of organisms, two or more, then it would be a community. And then if you have all of these organisms, living organisms, and then the non-living entities in or around the organisms, it would be an ecosystem. All right, so last week we learned that plants make their own energy source, glucose, through photosynthesis. But what about animals? How do animals get energy? So our essential question was, how do animals get energy? We created a pyramid and we completed it. We said that producers, they get energy from the sun, and they are the bottom of the pyramid, and they are also consumed by primary consumers. And primary consumers can be herbivores or omnivores. Herbivores eat only producers, and then omnivores eat producers and also herbivores. Then we said a secondary consumer gets energy from the primary consumer by consuming it. And they could be omnivores or carnivores. We said that there was another trophic level, the tertiary consumers. And the tertiary consumers get energy from consuming the secondary consumer. So Ms. Davis also did a diagram behind her on the wall. And I wrote that producers were at the base of the pyramid. They get their energy from the sun, sunlight energy. And that they are consumed by the primary consumers. And we said it were herbivores and omnivores. And then we said that the primary consumers get their energy from consuming producers. These are herbivores and omnivores. And the secondary consumers get their energy from consuming primary consumers. These are omnivores. They may also be carnivores. And then tertiary consumers get their energy from consuming secondary consumers. These are carnivores and omnivores as well. And then they may either be consumed by fourth level of consumers, or they may die and their body is broken down by detritivores. And detritivores could be either fungi or bacteria, fungus or bacteria, like mushrooms, and then the bacteria that's inside the organism, or even on the outside. And then also another group would be the decomposers. And the decomposers would be like they actually fall into two different categories. It would be the maggots, the worms, the flies, that group of decomposers, or another group, which would be the scavengers. And that would be like the vultures or the jackals. And they don't hunt an organism. They actually feed off of dead organisms, and so they further break it down. All right. So this is what we discussed yesterday and what we have been discussing this week. And so now we're going to continue with our investigation, and we're going to continue in Google Classroom. Remember, what we are looking for is how animals get energy. Last week we said plants get energy through photosynthesis. They make their own food using sunlight energy, and they store it as chemical energy. So we're going to continue to investigate how animals get energy. So in Google Classroom, you will be directed to your particular class, and I'll just click Michigan State, the classwork tab. From there, our topic, biodiversity, and then look for today's date. There's today's date. And shout out to the scholars. We were having conversations back and forth in Google Classroom under the appropriate topic. If I go to Chicago, then classwork tab, biodiversity topic, today's date. And if I go to Notre Dame, Indy, classwork tab, biodiversity, and today's topic. So I'm going to view the assignment, go to the instructions, and then we always start our lesson out with our fab vocab. All right. So our first vocab, oh, Ms. Davis went through them earlier. You guys know I love going through the fab vocab. Shout out to, I think, Jalen, Sinai, and Aiden. They have beat Ms. Davis top scorers. So still proud of my scholars. You guys rock it out. All right, so let's go through our fab vocab, and then we'll do the match. Remember, I want you to go through the fab vocab 2 times, and then I want you to play the match game at least 2 times. You may be able to beat my score, but you can always try. Let's go. Ecosystem. An ecosystem is the living and non-living parts of the environment in a specific area. Ecosystems can be really small or really large. Ms. Davis was talking about that puddle, and if you take a sample of that puddle, put it on a Petri plate, which is like a little circular disc, and then you can take a swab of it, put it on a slide, look under a microscope, and you will see that there is an entire ecosystem on that Petri, on that slide. All right. The next term is environment. So an environment is everything, all the living and non-living things that surround just an organism. And an organism could be one of these trees, because remember we said it's one of that type of species. And so it could be one tree, could be one piece of grass, could be a lily pad, could be a fish, could be dragonfly, turtle, the ladybugs, the raccoon, one of these, or even the deer, just one of these organisms, everything surrounding it is its environment. Our next word, producer. The producer is an organism that makes its own food through the process of photosynthesis. And what 3 things are needed for photosynthesis? What 3 things from the environment? You said water, if you said sunlight, if you said carbon dioxide. You are absolutely right. But then there's something inside of the plant cell. You said chlorophyll within the chloroplast. You're absolutely right. Good job, leaders. All right. Photosynthesis. It's the process by plants and other autotrophs, that means they make their own food, to capture light and energy and use it to power chemical reactions that convert carbon dioxide and water into oxygen and energy-rich carbohydrates, glucose, such as sugars and starches. And then consumer. This is an organism that must eat or consume plants or other animals for food. We're asking that question, how do animals get energy? Herbivore. So it's an organism that only eats plants. We're not herbivores. We're not herbivores. We are omnivores. Yes, we are omnivores. This is an organism that eats both plants and animals. Plants and animals. That's us. We're omnivores. We're omnivores. Carnivore. Some people say I'm a carnivore. They're not, no. People are not carnivores. We are omnivores. We eat plants and animals. Carnivore only eats meat. It only consumes other animals. See, right there. Right? Decomposer. Decomposers break down dead plants and animals. This returns nutrients to the soil. That's, we were talking about up here, the decomposers, the detrivores, and then they break down stuff, and then it goes into the soil, those minerals that we were talking about. Detrivores, decomposers, all one and the same. All one and the same. All right. Habitat. This is the environment that provides the things a specific organism needs to live, grow, and reproduce. We were talking about the 2K geckos, their habitat. Got to figure out what was going on with them. Habitat. Food chain. A community of organisms where each member is eaten in turn by another member. Sunlight energy is absorbed by the chlorophyll, is captured in the chloroplast of the plants. Plants are consumed by the deer. Deer is consumed by the wolf. Wonder what organism would consume the wolf? You said a decomposer because it's really at the top of its food chain. You're correct. And then finally, a food web, a community of organisms where there are several interrelated food chains. Food webs are complex. However, they all began with sunlight energy, and then you see the producers, you see the either omnivore or you see an herbivore, and then you see a carnivore at the top. All right, so let's do the matching, because we said after we finish, oh, no, Miss Davis wanted to do matching. I didn't want to do gravity. Although I love gravity, I don't want to do the gravity game. I'll just get started, and then we'll go back. No, we just want to go back. We want to do match. Now, you can play the gravity game if you want to play the gravity game. Totally fine. Make sure that you spell accurately. Oh, that is a producer. That's a decomposer. Environment. I think that's the ecosystem. And omnivores. Boom. So I have Sinai, I have Jalen, I have Azaria. Great job, leaders. I'm not even going to, I want to see who can beat it because I'm not going to beat it right now. Great job. All right, so when we finish our Fab vocab, we are going to go back into Google Classroom. The second step says we're going to watch the video. I love this video. I was talking to you guys about this video earlier. And so the video is just Energy Pyramid Lab. We're going to fast forward because you can watch the entire video, but we're going to fast forward to about 3 minutes and 55 seconds because then it starts to talk about what I really want you guys to see. So like here is just talking about the different trophic levels, and we've already discussed that back here. But I wanted to show how energy is transferred in a trophic or energy pyramid. So I'm going to stop right here.
1,000 pinto beans to our producer, the bottom level of our energy pyramid, to help us show how energy is transferred from one level to the next at the top. Remember, the pinto beans represent energy. Since the primary consumers eat the producers, they are going to gain energy from the producers. So that means that we have to move beans up to the next level to show the transfer of energy. The primary consumers are going to gain 10% of energy from the producers, so we're going to move 100 pinto beans up to the primary consumer level.
Yep.
I have moved 100 pinto beans from our producer level to the primary consumer
10%.
After they were consumed. Make sure you notice that there's a big difference between the amount of pencil beans at our producer level compared to our primary consumer level. Although I have moved 100 feet to the primary consumer level, I want you to remember that the plants and producers are always receiving energy from the sun. So the producers will always be at 100% energy. This energy pyramid is to show you how energy is transferred after something is consumed. Although one plant might be consumed, the rest of the producers that are still living will always have 100% energy because they are always using energy from the sun. Now, we know that secondary consumers will eat primary consumers. That means that the energy from the primary consumers will be transferred to the secondary consumers. So, since 10% of energy is transferred from one level to the next, I'm going to move 10 pencil beans up to our secondary consumer level. I have now moved 10 pencil beans from our primary consumer level to our secondary consumer level of our energy pyramid. Next, we need to figure out how many beans we should move to the next level. We know that tertiary consumers eat secondary consumers. Therefore, tertiary consumers will gain their energy from our secondary consumers. We also know that 10% of the energy is transferred from one level to the next. Since we know that only 10% of energy is transferred from one level of the energy pyramid to the other, we are going to move only one bean up to our tertiary level to represent the energy transfer from our secondary consumers to our tertiary consumers. I have moved one bean from our secondary consumer level to our tertiary consumer level. Now our energy pyramid is complete.
I'm gonna stop there. I'm going to stop there. You can watch this in the total video on your own. It's here in Google Classroom. I just wanted you to see that particular part starting at 3 minutes and 55 seconds, how energy is transferred from the producers in the food chain or the energy pyramid all the way up to the tertiary consumers in the food pyramid. So after you finish that, you do have a thinking question, and the thinking question is just basically asking a question about the video. And we're going to pull it up. It says, what happens to energy as it is transferred to the different consumers in a food chain? We just saw a representation of what happens to energy. I just need you to complete it right here. And then once you've done that, press turn in up here where the share button is on my screen. It'll say turn in on your screen. All right. Once you are finished with that, then you're going to do the ReadWorks. And it just talks about ecosystems. So I've already assigned it to you guys, and you'll just read the passage. And then after you read the passage, you'll do the question set. You did not get the vocabulary this time, but just the question set. Once you're done, you'll scroll all the way to the bottom. Make sure you type in the typing questions. Type in the typing questions. It's 3 of them, and then press the gray submit button. And then once you finish that assignment, come back into Google Classroom and Legends of Learning. My password is the same for pretty much everything, and my playlist is the same as well. The Davis, here we go. You will log in because I've already created you an account. You do not have to create an account. So student and teacher log in. You'll click that. Your students, you're going to play now. Then you're going to play my playlist. Play my playlist with my teacher code. Teacher code. And you're going to purple log in. Purple log in. You're going to log in with your Google account, with your Promise Academy Google account. I'm going to press him. And these are the playlists, but your playlist is at the bottom. Still not loading. All right. If you have any questions, please send Ms. Davis a message. So you have your fab vocab. Then you have the Energy Pyramid Lab with the pinto beans. Then you have the thinking question, and it's only one question today. And then you have your read works. And then after your read works, you have the Legends of Learning. Okay. And that is it. If you have any questions, leave them at the bottom of the topic. I'm in the comment section. You can email me or you can message me on Dojo. I prefer on Google Classroom, but if you want to message me on Dojo, that's fine as well. Your teachers and I are available to you guys from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock every day. Um, Make sure that you are logging into Compass Learning and also Zern, and that you're completing assignments daily. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. It's a fantastic Friday, and I'm going outside to enjoy the breeze. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.